In Activity 5, Fruit Flies, students are introduced to a new animal, the fruit fly. They observe as the fruit flies hatch and develop, then track the changes in the fruit fly population over a period of several weeks. You will need the following materials from the kit. Activity Sheet 5, Magnifiers, Fruit Fly Culture in Vial, Fruit Fly Population Data Chart, Masking Tape, and Fruit Fly Life Cycle. You will also need to provide felt tip markers. To prepare for the activity, make a copy of Activity Sheet 5 for each student. Each team of 4 will need a vial of fruit flies, a piece of masking tape, a marker, and 2 magnifiers. To begin the activity, give a copy of Activity Sheet 5 to each student and distribute the materials. Inform students that the insects in the vial are fruit flies, small insects that lay their eggs inside fruits or vegetables. Ask students to share the magnifiers and examine the fruit flies for a few minutes, and then describe the fruit flies on their activity sheets. Because the fruit flies are so small, students' initial descriptions may be vague. Have students label their vial with their team members' names and the date. Next, show the fruit fly life cycle graphic and point out the different stages of fruit fly development. Ask students, are fruit flies alike throughout their life? Students will see that they have different forms. Explain that the life cycle is all the stages a living thing goes through during its lifetime. Inform students that the body of a fruit fly, like many other insects, goes through dramatic changes as it develops from an egg into an adult. Students may be familiar with the way a wingless caterpillar changes into a butterfly. Then explain that a larva is a young insect that looks different from the adult it will become. Point out the illustration of the fruit fly larva and ask students, can you find fruit fly larvae like these in your vials? Using the magnifiers, students should be able to find the smaller, wingless, worm-like larvae. Next, explain that a fruit fly larva hatches from an egg and ask, can you find any fruit fly eggs in your vials? The eggs are difficult to see because they are laid in the medium. They look like tiny dots attached to the sides of the vials. Then inform students that before a larva becomes an adult, it turns into a pupa. A pupa has a hard shell and does not move. Ask students, can you find any pupa in your vial? They may see that the hard cases of the pupa are yellowish in color. Point out that the adult fruit flies have wings and ask students, can you find the adult fruit flies in your vials? Help students understand that depending on the stage of development of the fruit flies in the vials, adults may or may not be present at this time. Next, have teams count how many adult fruit flies are in their vials and record this number in the chart on the activity sheet. Remind students that the total number of one kind of plant or animal in a particular area is called a population. Ask students, what is the size of the population of students in your class? Students will probably count the number of students in the class. Then ask, what is the size of the population of fruit flies in one team's vial? In the class. Students should say that the number of fruit flies in one vial, or the total number in all the vials, is the size of each population. Finally, ask students, which is the larger population, the students in our classroom or the fruit flies in our classroom? There are most likely more fruit flies, but some students will tend to think that the human population is larger because humans are so much larger than fruit flies. Remind students that population size refers to the number of organisms in a group, not to the size of the individual organism. Next, post the fruit fly population data chart. Begin by writing today's date below the observation day, number 0, at the head of the second column. Then, add the team's names and the current number of adult fruit flies in each team's vial. Working together, add up the total for the class and write this number at the bottom of the day 0 column. Explain that teams will be observing the vials and updating the chart every other day to see if the population of fruit flies changes. Then, inform students that the substance in the vial is food for the fruit flies and ask them to observe and record any changes in the amount of food during the activity. Collect the magnifiers and return them to the kit. Store the fruit fly vials in a place in the classroom where they will be out of direct sunlight and away from a heat source. Finally, every day or 2 days for the next several weeks, have students observe the fruit flies in their vial, count the population of adult fruit flies, and record their data in the chart on the activity sheet as well as on the classroom fruit fly population data chart. Working together, help students add up the total for each observation day on the class chart. Students will discuss their observations in Activity 8. To conclude the activity, collect the magnifiers and return them to the kit. Collect the activity sheets for use in Activity 8. For science background, reinforcement activities, curriculum connections, and information about the Delta Science Reader, please consult your DSM Teacher's Guide.